Welcome to the Authentic Pathways podcast, where I interview leaders who I admire and I believe are doing wonderful deeds in the world. So, my mission is to spread love, peace, and sustainability. And I do this through leadership and team coaching and delivering training and workshops on well being, managing difficult conversations, building a culture of trust and belonging and resilience. And today I have with me Michelle Thomas. She's an energy guru, I would like to call her, or coach, who helps professionals align their energy, clear internal blocks, and uncover a renewed sense of purpose. Her unique approach blends practical strategies with a deep understanding of energy systems, helping her clients achieve clarity, focus, and extraordinary results in their careers and lives. She's also the owner of Quinta Carvalhas, a beautiful estate in Portugal, used for barefoot luxury retreats, which is where I met Michelle. I think I've been to Quinta now 4 times. I like going because it is beautiful, but I have to say, Michelle, it is your presence and energy that is felt there. And if you ever do leave, it won't be the same. So, Michelle, a really warm welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Karin. It is so good to be with you. And it is so wonderful to extend the relationship that we created on the farm, beyond farm, and to extend it to people further afield.
Yeah. So, thank you for being here. Since our theme is the pursuit of joy, I would like to start with where did your journey with energy and joy begin?
That is a complex question, and it doesn't really have a simple and fast answer, but I'm going to make it nice and succinct for you. I was really born feeling and hearing and seeing energy in a way that I later realized other people don't see and feel and experience it. So I could see people without bodies. My imaginary friends were actually people who don't have bodies that other people would call ghosts, but I never saw them as that. They're just people. So I have always had a connection to our energetic force. We are principally energy beings. That is our life force. We are energy. And it has been a blessing and at times really confusing in my life
Mm.
to see that I can see all these things that other people can't see. And for a while, I actually shut it down because it was just too confusing and I couldn't work out the purpose. Why would I be seeing all these things? And after a near death experience that I had 20 years ago now, this year it's 20 years ago, I found my way forward. I found my path to understand the energies that I can see, feel, hear, touch. It feels tangible for me, and found the purpose for that, which is to connect other people to their own energy so that they could feel the intrinsic joy that is their birthright, that is who they are.
That's fascinating. I mean, because it's so unusual that you have this ability to see and yeah, to see these other beings, other people that we and us mere mortals, most of us cannot see. So, Michelle, you talk about helping others connect with their energy. Have they lost it then?
In a way, yes. And that is because of the way we are existing and bringing ourselves forward on it. Because we are intrinsically energetic beings from before we're born. And at the time that we're born, we arrive as beautiful, amazing, energetic beings. But slowly, what happens is life kind of suppresses our natural connection to our own energy and to the energy of nature and to really the wonder of being alive. So if you have a look at what a child feels like and how they experience the world, it is just pure, unadulterated joy and interest and excitement at any moment with, wow, this flower is so amazing and this is so beautiful. And oh, look, there's a rainbow and oh, I can see clouds. And this teddy bear of mine speaks back to me. And they are full of magic, full of aliveness. And then the stories come, the programming, the conditioning, the societal readjustment of thinking. No, of course you don't have your imaginary friends are just, no, they're not real. And come on, hurry up. We don't have time to look at that. And life is hard. Money doesn't grow on trees. Life is tough. We have to work hard all the time. And, just hurry, do. And from observation and from what people tell us and our culture, ideas and systems are imposed upon that original, amazing, magnetic, energetic being. And gradually, what happens is we start to believe those layers of stories that are hiding the person who never has gone anywhere truly. Is always there, but we just don't see them. So it's not a matter of losing your true self as much as no longer being able to see your true self. Your true self is there. When we are looking for enlightenment or we're looking for a way forward or we're looking for, we wanting to become, it's ironic because actually we are becoming who we already are. You're actually just becoming your original self, which you always were, apart from a whole period of believing stories imposed upon you. So the interesting path that we have is, as a human, it is, all right, there is the seed, the core, the center of me as an energetic being. Let me peel away these layers. Let me let go of things to find my true inner being. And we often talk about the letting go of and the peeling away of and uncovering the stories as a bad thing, like we shouldn't have them. I contend that the adventure of being alive is all of this. If you didn't have stories that you were telling yourself about money, about relationships, about the way the world is, then you wouldn't have this next path of self-discovery. Let me unpack why I believe this about money. And in the process, I will find out about who I am. Let me, they've done so many tests and experiments, and they've observed identical twins. So two people with the same parents in the same environment, having the same thing happening around them, will have completely different interpretations. So your view of the world is just yours. In other words, there are 8 billion worlds. I am the unique sole inhabitant of the world I'm in because it's my unique perspective based on my unique experiences and interpretations of those experiences. My brother and sister, obviously we grew up in the same house, same parents. They have very different views about money and about relationships and about the way the world is. And it's the same with most siblings. And how does that work? It's because we are not here as just simply part of a system. We're here as autonomous souls. And then we take on all these stories. Of course we do when we're children. When we are children, we're not in a space of discernment. We're in a space of absorption. So if you look at the way the human naturally lives on this earth. First, you are absorbing, then you're making sense of, then you're dismantling, and then you're finding your original inner being with a sense of wonder that you can find that inner core being again. How amazing is that you get to do that?
And how does that relate to energy then? You talk about the stories that we accumulate, the impressions that we get, what we absorb, the beliefs that we have, and then that journey to find, well, remember our authentic selves. What does that have to do with energy?
Everything, because everything is energy. So every thought is either composed of images or words, right? So we've got like a radio that can play in the mind, or we've got a movie, or we've got a combination of both, or sometimes we've got still images. They're different ways that we produce thoughts, right? And each one of those has got an energetic frequency. Each word that you say and speak and think has an energetic frequency. There is a frequency of the word love. There's a frequency of the word hate. There's a frequency of literally everything. And when we start to look at how these words work in our bodies, I will say to you, love. And you don't receive it simply as a word. Instantly within you, there is a reaction, there is a movement, there is a frequency that arises in your body. We call these things emotions or feelings, but they are simply frequencies. We've labeled this particular frequency as a feeling or an emotion. That's fine, but it's energy. I can say to you, irritation, and I can say, irritation. And the energy of both of those words that I've delivered in the sound frequency is different. So not only is the sound in the tone, there's a delivery energy in all the words that we're saying, there's an emotion that arises in the body, which is a physical feeling. You can feel it somewhere usually on your torso. And then there's something going on in the brain as well, which is producing chemicals in your mind and in your body. And so everything is intricately connected. The challenge I think we often have is that the word energy means so many different things. But the way our systems work, the human body works, it's like an electrical field. It's an electrical pulse that goes through us. When we die, our bodies just have lost that energetic impulse that causes everything to work. So there is a life force that is energetic, right? And institutes and organizations like the Heart Math Institute are measuring these constantly. Each organ in your body has got a vibrational frequency, is optimally functioning. And you can actually tell from the frequency of these different organs if they are healthy or not. There are animals who can pick up on the frequencies of the different organs and and touch a different organ in your body when it's not vibrating at the correct frequency. We automatically are reading each other all the time. And we are interpreting our own vibrational frequency all the time. So when we are feeling low, the clue is we're feeling low frequencies. And when we are feeling excited, energized, we find our bodies naturally lift up. Our voices are often higher. Our chest is open and the frequency is a higher frequency. We tend to feel better when our frequencies are higher. And we tend to feel heavier, and those lower vibrational frequency emotions like shame and sadness that bring us physically down. We tend to feel the heaviness in our bodies. So there is nothing that we do that doesn't have an echo in the energetic realm.
And if I can go back to your near-death experience, how does that then inform or relate the work that you do and related to this energy?
That was a really incredible experience because it showed me firsthand what I could see when I was there. My near-death experience is very typical. Most near-death experiences unfold in a very similar way. And it's useful to go and have a look at people have experienced. There are hundreds of thousands of us near-death experiences. I think it's completely misnamed because I've never felt more alive and was, for me, a near living experience. And when I came back here, it felt heavy, hard. And I felt like this is the dream and a pale facsimile of true living. So when I was there, I was able to see other beings, other energetic beings. I spoke to, had long conversations with other energetic beings, my guides and other people, and I could see what they look like. So I've seen us as souls. I know what you look like, Karin.
Oh, really?
True being. Yes.
Oh, cool.
You are just in a body, a small portion of your time. And it's not even the whole of you who's in this body. Most of your energy is still existing at soul level as a soul. We call this the higher self, we call it your oversoul or whatever. Doesn't matter what your label is, you are still you as a soul. And the joy and experience that we have here, the joy of being alive, is okay, now I'm in the human. How can I find out a bit more about myself? Because that is what your soul is wanting to do. Your soul comes into the human to have all of these experiences to get to know itself better. So when I'm using a pencil, I find that uncomfortable. But when I'm using my favorite pen that really glides, I find that super comfortable for me. It's not comfortable, it's expanding. So tiny things cause me to feel a certain way. This is teaching me about me. I don't like spending time on screens. And yet I know people in my family who love movies and just want to be watching movies all the time. It's great to know these things about ourselves on a surface level, but I think it's really part of the fun of being in the human to spend time figuring out all of these experiences that we have, which of them connect us to soul? As a soul, we are vibrating at a high frequency. We look like stars, really. We are these energetic star beings full of incredible light energy. We are made of light energy, loving energy. That's the core of who we are. We are love. And when we think we're not, it's just an idea and a story. But the truth of it is that we are at our cores, loving beings. So finding out who you are is actually just connecting you to your loving soul. And each soul has got hopes, dreams, desires, goals, likes and dislikes. Some souls love to experience things growing. But as a human, if you love plants and you always, doesn't matter what you're doing in your life, you've always got plants around you. You love being in nature. You love doing that. That's the connection, like from your heart to your soul center. So you could be cultivating an award-winning garden, or you could just be cultivating no matter which apartment you're in this week. You could be wanting some herbs on your kitchen window, that you've always got something growing around you. This is what finding our passion actually means. It doesn't mean finding one thing in your life that floats your boat. It means finding the many things that expand your heart, which is the clue to who you are as a soul.
And how do we pay attention to that? Because our lives are so busy.
Sure.
You know, where I'm coaching
Completely.
leaders and they are, yeah, they're up and about all day, doing, as you say. They come home, they need to do some more, and then they kind of crash, and then they do the same thing the next day. Where is their space, or how can they take a moment really to experience a little bit more? Is this something that is connecting with my heart, or is this something that is not? And also, sometimes I feel I need to do these things that are not connecting to my heart. Like last night, I do a small group coaching for women leaders, and one of them said, I just need to get through the slog. I just need to have a different mindset about the slog because I do need to do it. Right. So, how do we deal with the slog when we know it's not really expanding our heart? And that, I guess, the busy pace of life as well.
I actually think that thinking about slog as something that you don't want to be doing is not acknowledging that very essence of why we're here, which is to have experiences. How do you know that you don't like the thing? How do you know? I mean,
It's an energy. It feels draining, right? Like
but
when I need
there's
to do my accounting, it feels draining.
that,
Yeah.
but there's thing in each person that gives them a clue about what they like and what they dislike. And that something is a feeling typically in the body, even if you don't think you're aware of it. There are many people who are not tuned into their bodies, but they still know what they like and they don't like. So fundamentally, we are tuned into what we do and don't like. But my question is not, can we tune into it? Because we are at some point tuned into it, because we've worked out we don't like this, right? The deeper question is, why don't I like it? And isn't it interesting that I don't like that? What does it tell me about me? How do I explore my stories? Why is it causing me that feeling? What button is it pressing in my body? If I don't want to go on a trip, why? What if I sit, just even if I say sit, I just mean take time to consider. So even if it's, while you're commuting to work, you could be considering, why is that particular business trip so irksome to me that's coming up? What is it in there that is causing me to not want to go? And you can sift through the many different aspects of it until you get to the core of the thing. You might instantly know, well, I don't want to go because I just don't get on with that one colleague and I'm going to have to spend a lot of time with them. It's fine. But now, why? Why does that colleague rub you up the wrong way? What if being with that colleague is going to help you to grow and develop other skills in your system and in your life? What if you ordered that for yourself as an experience? What if the worst thing that you need to do in this next month was something that you wanted yourself to be able to do? How would that benefit you? Do you need to have everything cozy and hunky dory in your life? We all think that we're wanting to aim for that. I want to just give you an analogy or a picture. Imagine that you were going on holiday and your holiday was just lying on the beach. Well, the first 3 weeks, it's amazing. Well, that is the
Mm.
equivalent of a life of no hiccups, no ups and downs, no challenges, that everything is just okay all the time. It's fine. I mean, there are many people who have that kind of life, and that's fine. I think I would die of boredom. I don't know how I would manage without lots of things happening all the time. So if we're looking at this life as a holiday, then that's kind of a sad holiday for me. But it might be an amazing holiday for someone else who's feeling really exhausted. But after 6 months, do you still want to only lie on the beach? What then? What other experiences do you want to have while you're on holiday? So, this life is your holiday. That's what I experienced when I had my near living experience, when I crossed over to the other side, and I was dead, I think, for about 15 minutes. And when after they resuscitated me, I wanted to go back again because it was so amazing. And that's also very typical with near death experiences. I was deeply alive there and then came here to have a whole variety of experiences. It doesn't help to only have the lying on the beach thing. So I want to bungee jump. I want to dive off, paraglide off a cliff. I want to do all sorts of different things in this life to have a variety of growing experiences and to experience joy no matter what.
There's a lot of negativity in the world right now, a lot of fear, anxiety, stress. People are at each other's throats. It's just it's a hard time for many people. How do we relate to these events? And then I guess still try and find that joy or see it as part.
To focus on, you magnify. So, you know that analogy with the plastic straws, which is, what difference will it make if I use a plastic straw? Said 8 billion people. So, what difference would it make if I am kind to the person sitting next to me? Said 8 billion people. Imagine that. Imagine if collectively every person on earth just chose to see the beauty in the person next to them without exception. Like right now, every person next to me has got credit. They are worthy. They're human like me. Imagine that. The wars would stop instantly. The moment we see the humanity in everyone else and the people around us and the beauty, we wouldn't be harming nature. We would just be seeing the truth of what we have. We would be seeing the beauty of the world. We would be seeing the incredible soul within the human that is next to me. We are all made of that intense, loving, universal energy. There is no difference. And every blade of grass, every flower, every tree, all of nature is made of the same essence. So we are denying that when we keep looking at the negatives. That's the low energy stuff. The stuff that recalibrates our energy is love.
How do you deal then with people that are not loving, that are disrespectful, that are bullies, that are unkind because and I guess also what's driving them to do that?
Yeah. It's really interesting because you can't produce what you don't have inside. So, what comes out of your mouth, what you produce and send into the world, is a reflection of what you have inside. When people are spewing ugliness, they have got that ugliness within themselves and that inner conflict. There are two things here. The one is, can you feel compassion for the person who's so damaged and injured inside that all that can come out on the outside is dislike, hate, what a dark place to be. Secondly, what if that is directed at you? How do you find the space to have grace or have forgiveness or look beyond what they're saying? Well, you are responsible for your own energy and they are responsible for theirs. If they hand you a soundbite that you don't wish to receive, you can hand it back. This is a glib statement, it sounds like, but it is actually essentially true. There are ways to do that. There are exercises that you can that you can do to help you to block and seal off their energy so that you stay autonomous. But essentially, you're making a choice to leave their energy with them, and you choose your energy through choosing your thoughts, because your thoughts are simply something that happens within your body, within your mind, but they are not real. I mean, just pass me that thought that you've just had, Karin.
What was I thinking? I was thinking of leaders who, or anyone really, that we have all these thoughts and they just keep going, like that we don't feel we have control over our thoughts. Right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And that is the disconnect and the lack of understanding of how this works. Because we think that the mind controls everything, but actually, in the true energetic system, the mind is one small aspect of most of the feeling and the drive. Because everything around you is as a result of a feeling you once had, not a thought.
So if we want to be in that higher frequency and we want to experience more joy and we want to get to know ourselves better and we want to remember our authentic selves, all of that, how do we do that?
Inside every one of us is a physical system of expansion or contraction, which is our clue as to how to proceed. There is, so I can ask anyone, show me where you feel hunger, and they can tell you on their body where they feel hunger. So there isn't a person who isn't connected at some level to their own body. So if I say to you, when you drink water, do you feel an expansion or a contraction? They can say, oh, I don't know. But you say, do you want to drink water? This is a great test and experiment and a way to develop this skill. Do you want to drink water right now? Your body will tell you yes or no. The yes is an expansion, go towards it. A no is a contraction. No, I don't. I will move away from it.
Yeah.
It's easier if you practice with drink and food, tea, coffee, water, soda, different drinks, different foods. You get your body used to it. Then you can ask your body, do I want to go on that trip? And you might have a silence. And then you can break it down. Do I want to go on that trip next week? And it's a no. That tells you something. It's your clue. Why? And you can start breaking down. Oh, I want to reschedule it for the following week. It feels more expanding or useful for me to do that other thing next week and postpone the trip to the following week.
I wonder if people sometimes realize, though, what expands them and contracts them. Because I think of the time in my life when I would binge Netflix or have a lot of wine or eat a bag of chips all the way through once I started. Like these things that I think are joy, that's my body is saying, yes, give me more. Give me another glass of wine, or let me hit the play button on Netflix again, or something like that. So is that truly joy? I don't think so, because I often feel drained actually after those things. So the clue is not in the moment. The clue in the moment is like, ah, this is so nice. I'm enjoying myself. And then afterwards, it's like, oh, I should not have had that glass of wine, or I should have not hit play. My sleep is bad, whatever. We're pursuing joy or happiness in a very short term,
Mm-hmm.
but not in the long run.
Right. but now you know.
Yes, but it takes a while to stop doing these things, right?
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
but you are busy being alive. So I've got two things to say. The first is you can allow yourself to make the mistakes and then feel bad about them so that you've learned something and say, oh, eating that entire bag of chips felt so good then. And now I feel like I've put on 30 kilograms from eating one bag of chips. It feels bloaty and awful. Next time you won't do that. Or maybe you need to do that 20 times before the lesson lands. And that is being alive. But the second part of that is if we remain unaware, then of course you will keep doing that. But I think that eventually what happens is all of us get around to the moment where we are wanting to be more aware. So it feels to me increasingly, it feels to me like a gentleness should be with us in being alive. We're very hard on ourselves. We want ourselves to know these things because it's the right thing to do, and therefore we are wrong. What if you are getting to know yourself while you make those little mistakes? What if you're getting to know yourself while you make the big mistakes? There's a softness in that you will get there, and that your timing is divine and it's your own. And so, what if you discover, oh, you know what? All of these things are important to me. What if you discover those when you're 95? What a life well lived because you got there. And what if you discover those when you're 15? Well, amazing. Then you go on to discover a whole lot of other things. So I feel like there should be a bit of gentleness, a bit of softness towards ourselves, and know that we all are on our own path of unfolding and peeling the onion, getting back to our original selves on our own unique timeline. When we're ready, we will hear our bodies. The way you do it is through hearing your own system. This is the clever technology. Your body is way smarter than any AI, way smarter than any tech we think we can develop. This is the super smart, absolutely mind-blowing system. And sooner or later we'll get to that. We'll find this system, which is our clue and our assistant. I always think about how we arrived here on Earth naked, but we were smart enough to send ourselves with an incredible toolkit. This is exactly like Star Trek, and they go off onto a planet, but they go with tools. They go with equipment. They've got things strapped to them. We don't have the benefit in arriving at this planet with a toolbox, except it is. We do have one, and it's all built into the body.
I love how you bring in the gentleness or the non-judgment of who you are in this moment of time and learning from all the experiences that we go through. Well, would love to see if Farhana and Bridget maybe have any questions or comments for you, Michelle.
I do.
Okay, go for it.
Hi, Michelle. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about this incredible toolkit with our body. And I think much of what I've been hearing is paying attention to our bodies and understanding about the vibrational frequencies and what they're telling us. And so that feels a little bit passive to me, important, but passive. I wonder what your thoughts are about being more active with our bodies and sort of recruiting them. Like, how can we use our bodies to maybe change our vibrational frequencies so that instead of feeling low, we can actually do something about that physically to override something or sort of manually manipulate our bodies so that we can change how we're approaching a situation.
Something that we have automatically been doing our whole lives. We do use our physical systems to reflect inner feelings, like when you're sad and your shoulders round and you bring your body inwards, it's a protective thing. And when you're happy and your chest opens and you can roll your shoulders back. And they have shown so often in so many labs and with so many experiments and so many studies that you can make your body the shape of how you want to feel, and then the feeling and the chemistry follows. You can fake smile, put a pen between your teeth, do that, walk around the house like that, exactly. And your body has no idea that you're not actually smiling because your muscles have made the shape. You can walk around frowning and cause yourself to feel worse and worse. You can wake in the morning and have the intention of having a good day and set your physical system up with upright body, open chest, a smile, prime yourself to see beauty, prime yourself to see, like the color of the clouds, the shape of the clouds, a mom helping her child. Prime yourself to notice the things that light you up, and your whole day changes. That's physical shape, as well as you prime in advance and program the thoughts. And what follows,
How do you prime your thoughts?
a great example is that when I was looking at the rubbish bins outside my kitchen while I was washing dishes. And I thought, I'm just standing looking at rubbish while I'm spending so much of my life washing dishes. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I choose to look at something pretty. And I planted flowers there, created a pretty space. And from that moment of choosing to see only prettiness, I created that. But then I started creating more things around my house, whereas I choose to not look down this passage and see a mess at the end. I choose to tidy that up so that I see something beautiful. I went outside and I can't miraculously change and tidy up the whole neighborhood. I started focusing on the things that were beautiful to me. So I could be in a city street and that could be full of litter and dustbins, just cars and, the busyness and the ugliness of a city. But I'll see the cat, the trees, the leaves on the trees, the pretty color of the woman's dress as she walks towards me. So this is the getting to know yourself part. What do I want to see? If I could wave a magic wand and have everything look the way I choose it to, what would that look like? And you will train yourself to see that. Your magic wand isn't instantaneous. It takes a while. You can wave the wand, but it's, a training of 6 months or whatever it is. And eventually you will realize, hey, all I see in the city is green. You're only looking for the green. It's exactly like you say, oh, I think I'm going to buy a white Toyota. And then all you need is white Toyotas everywhere, whereas previously you didn't. If someone says to you, look at all the fire hydrants in the street, you would not have seen them before, but suddenly only red fire hydrants are everywhere. That it is simple.
Yeah. So focus on what you want to grow, on
Yes.
what expands you again.
You can choose.
Farhana, any questions or comments from you?
I was just listening to you and so many clarification it happened to my old mouth about how my energy is working nowadays. I'm going through lots of ups and down in my mind. And the last 2 weeks, I exactly decided that I will do only what I can do. I will do only the good things that make me happy. I will make one person at least every day happy. And whatever the other things are happening, I'm not going to pay attention, and it's actually stronger. Every morning I'm getting up with that mindset, and I can see that it's much better for me. I know what my body is telling me. I know what my mind is strongly telling me. But I have some situations that I cannot step into that what my body and mind is telling me. Is it that not right for me, or why I'm not getting strong to do that?
I've got a great exercise for you. Remember that you are a soul.
Uh-huh.
Portion of the soul energy is occupying this human called Farhana, right? So Farhana feels these things and thinks these things and experiences these things. You can take a moment and just sit for a moment with quiet and no one around, and you can imagine you as a soul. Imagine your soul energy. Imagine that soul energy, which is not within you, it is on the outside of you and actually all around you, right? And observe and look at this beautiful human and just look at her like a loving looking at Farhana moment. This is your higher self, your greater self, your soul self, just seeing the human. What happens is you take yourself out of that human experience when we are deep inside our day-to-day experience. We don't have perspective. So when out of it, imagine that higher self looking love at Farhana. What would she tell Farhana right now? So you can also do that with your future self. You can imagine yourself in 20 years' time. Just what advice would she give you? So it could be a meditation. For me, it is an instantaneous thing that I can see with this body and sort of stand alongside and see it. And as soon as I do that, I can see that these are just thoughts that can be replaced. These are just feelings that can be replaced. Because you can do what I suggested to Karin. Show me your thought. Bring it out and hold it out here in front of me. But do it now. You cannot. And therefore, it doesn't exist. It's a fleeting, transient thing that's just by. So if that is possible of that one thought, then I can just create another one. You did always create another thought. And you can choose your feelings. Interestingly, you can choose your feelings. Our thought and feeling loop reinforces each other all the time. So if you are feeling a certain way and you're making a decision that you don't want to feel a certain way, there are all sorts of things that you can do to take yourself out of that. You are on this journey. So we've mentioned quite a few now. What if you walked past outside and looked at something different? Take yourself out into nature. You would instantly start having different thoughts. There are a whole host of things, and you already know what they are. This is part of getting to know yourself in a gentle way. Right now, I don't feel like I want to stay in the way I'm feeling. I want a different feeling. Then you do something different. Today, in this moment, you are the product of all of your previous thoughts and experiences. That's simply who you are. So if you want to feel differently tomorrow, do something differently today. See yourself differently. Drink out of a different glass, use a different pen, change your habits, get up earlier, meditate, do change your behavior so that who you are tomorrow has an energetic history that is different to who you are today.
Thank you. I think I'm making a lot of connection right, with your thoughts, with your explanation is so focused and clear. Like sometimes we are confused. We know many things, but we are confused in our own mind. And it's like listening to you and hearing from someone else. It is giving me so much of clarity in my own thoughts. So thank you.
I love that.
Thank you,
I love that.
Farhana, for being so genuine and sharing a bit. I really appreciate that. So, Michelle, as we wrap up, I mean, we could talk for another hour easily. I feel there's so many more questions and things that we could talk about, but is there anything else that you'd like to share that we haven't talked about yet before we wrap up?
We have this idea that we need to go on a quest to become enlightened or to become better and to continually, pursue something greater. My question is, what is on the other side of that? So after you find yourself in this magical place where you find that you're enlightened and you've worked out that you are connected with everyone else, what's on the other side of that? Remember that you came here to be human. We didn't come here to be in the soul and enlightened and magical and all-knowing and instantaneously wise. That's not your thing. Your thing here is human. So be gentle with your human, because your human is actually a deep reflection of the loving energy of your soul. And you can't mess that up, really.
Oh, beautiful way to end, Michelle, because I think that idea of pursuit of joy and that enlightenment and, that we find this quietness and stillness and way of being, it's such a good reminder that it's wonderful to feel that space and to have that connection kind of with that soul piece of you, but to remind ourselves that we are having the human experience. We're not meant to sit on a mountain and maybe just sit in lotus pose the whole day, right? That's not the purpose. The purpose is to connect with other people and to live a life and learn from all those experiences so that we get to know ourselves better. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Michelle, for joining me today, for your energy, your presence. It was such a pleasure. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Karin. It was so lovely chatting with you.
All right. And anyone who has made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you know of anyone who would be interested in coaching with me or Michelle and in training, please, don't hesitate to reach out to us. All right. Take care and see you next time.